Okay, so Arkham City was big. This one's bigger. There's a lot of stuff that leads to a lot of questions. In Asylum and City, there was the idea of like being in a prison, being in the asylum, and you didn't have access to all of your gear. Now Batman's on his home turf. How are you guys going to do the kind of the parcel, the lock and key stuff with his gadgets? Or are you fully kitted out when you start?
Batman is kind of evolving all the way through, so we really wanted to give that sense of continuity from Arkham Asylum to Arkham City to Arkham Knight in terms of the gadgetry and the development that's always happening at Wayne to R&D. So you start the game with that sense of everything you've achieved before is still there, but we're always developing new gadgetry. We're even folding functionality of gadgets into one another so that Batman's utility belt doesn't become massive, but you're actually more powerful with what you can do. So that was critical to us from a gameplay and a narrative perspective, that there's a very clear sense of flow throughout all three games in the trilogy.
So there will be new gadgets, and you'll find new gadgets as the game continues?
That evolution is a system that we've always felt worked. In addition to that, we've integrated gadgets with gliding. So gadgets while gliding is a new philosophy for us, so that as you're gliding through the street, you can get out the line launcher, deploy a tightrope, perch on that, study the streets below, or when you're coming into a fight, you can throw batarangs even before you get to those thugs, so you can clear out 2 or 3, then land, then go into combat. It's pretty sweet.
Now, we got to see Oracle's digs, but I'm curious, since like we're in Gotham City, are we going to go to Wayne Manor finally?
The area of the city that we were showing today had a load of legendary locations in it. Number one being the Clock Tower, where Oracle is hiding out. We're going to be expanding on the exploration of Gotham as we drive in towards launch. There's a lot more legendary locations. That's something that's critical for us at Rocksteady, because at the heart of it, we are Batman fans, and we really want to just get to as many of these locations as we can in the games that we make.
It was raining when the game started, and I'm curious, like, if when you drive in the rain and these simulations and stuff, does the weather matter? Is there some sort of random element, or is there time going to pass?
I think the weather and atmosphere is something that is critical to us, because it's what makes Gotham City feel like Gotham City rather than just a city.
Okay.
The handling of the Batmobile it's pretty much an all-weather, all-terrain vehicle, so the weather doesn't slow it down whatsoever. But for us, the weather systems that we've created are really more about creating that sense of authenticity in the game world that you're in, that atmosphere that is unmistakably Gotham.
So is the Batmobile indestructible? I mean, we saw him crash into stuff, plow through, really take some damage.
It's a complete wrecking ball. That's the fantasy of driving the Batmobile, right? When you think about what the experience of driving the Batmobile is, it's not the sort of car you're going to be doing 3-point turns in. It's not the sort of car that's going to hit an obstacle and stop dead. If there's something in your way, chances are you're going straight through it. If you get a bit tail heavy coming around a corner and you're going to clip a building, you're just going to rip the corner of that building off. That's what Next Gen has allowed us to do, is deliver on the promise of what people imagine driving the Batmobile is. Huge amount of effort for us, but I think we've just totally nailed it.
So the Riddler, you showed us a Riddler challenge, which was basically like a Mario Kart track from hell that you have to get through. But are there still going to be kind of the more cerebral challenges that the Riddler used to pose, like solving the actual riddles and puzzles and the like, or is it going to be more kind of Twitch-based this time around?
Riddler's challenge to Batman is always cerebral. It's always intellectual. So the track that we saw today is kind of like an intellectual racetrack, where you're driving at high speed with high precision, but you're also controlling the track and interfering with the traps that Riddler has set for you. There's a whole range of these hidden throughout the city, deep underground, and yeah, they do take on that kind of uniquely intellectual angle that Riddler is always coming at Batman with. He knows physically he can't step to Batman, so it's about winning the intellectual battleground that Riddler's all about with Batman.
And now, obviously, Batman doesn't want to take human life. And you guys, today you showed us firing non-lethal rockets. How do non-lethal rockets work?
Well, they immobilize a vehicle. They target the transmission, they target the tires, they take out the mobility of that vehicle so that you can then interrogate the driver or progress in a way that you haven't broken Batman's #1 moral code.
And can Batman, obviously we saw him jumping in and out of the car, if you ever played like Sleeping Dogs or Pursuit Force back in the day, very, very cool. Can he get into any of the other vehicles in the game?
Why would he want to? The Batmobile is there at the touch of a button, it is by your side. Ejecting out and getting back into the Batmobile in itself is just an incredible amount of fun. So the Batmobile is the exclusive vehicle that you need in Arkham Knight.
And finally, I mean, you showed us so much today, and I feel like we kind of talked about a lot of stuff, but is there like one thing you just really want to hammer home, let people know that, I mean, you guys are wrapping up your trilogy.
Yeah.
Is there something you really want to just let people know about Arkham Knight?
For us, there was always a piece of the puzzle that we wanted to fit in before we called it time on the Arkham series, and that really was the Batmobile, bringing it with this kind of complete and ultimate Batman experience. Because Arkham Asylum was very much about being the world's greatest detective, Arkham City about being the Caped Crusader. For us, the addition of the Batmobile rounds it out. That is the complete Batman experience, where you can ultimately and finally be the Batman. Very, very exciting for us. I think incredibly exciting for gamers.